même seul parler, personne pas qu'à opposer au bon papa. Moi fixé j'aime sous, moi connais pour papa abandonné. Parlez pour moi, Seigneur, parlez pour moi. Agis pour moi, Seigneur, agis pour moi. Campez pour moi, Seigneur, campez pour moi. Oh, c'est tout ça meilleur. Oh, l'Éternel, moi compter sur même seul parler, personne pas qu'à opposer au bon papa. Moi fixé, j'aime sous, moi connais où papa abandonné. Oh l'Éternel, moi compter sur, ou même seul parler. Personne pas qu'à opposer au bon papa. Ouais, fixé, j'aime sous. Ouais, connais où papa abandonné. Parlez pour moi, Seigneur, parlez pour moi. Agis pour moi, Seigneur, agis pour moi. Campez pour moi. Ou même leur parler, l'éternité envahie. Ou même leur dit oui, personne pas qu'à dire non. Ou même leur camper, pas qui vous qui qu'a opposé nous là, n'attend nous parler, Seigneur. Nous là, n'attend nous parler, Seigneur, parler. Nous là, n'attend nous agir. Camper, Seigneur. Agis pour moi, Seigneur, agis pour moi. Campez pour moi, Seigneur, campez pour moi.
Welcome. This is the Deus Sports Show. We're back and better than ever. Happy New Year. This is the first show of the 2024 year. Thank you for tuning in. I'm yours truly, Alvin's Deus, and it's a pleasure to be back with you guys here on the Deus Sports Show on Hosannaradio. live every Thursday from 6 to 8. Thank you for tuning in. Before I start, I'm going to get into a prayer. Father God, thank you once again for your protection. Thank you once again for keeping us healthy. Thank you once again for protecting our going outs and coming in. Thank you once again for bringing us into the new year safely and healthy. Thank you once again for giving us this opportunity. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Well, welcome back. I'm yours truly, Deus. Happy New Year. This is the first show of the new year, and I'm happy to be with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get right into it. We're in the playoffs. Dolphins, we made it to the playoffs. Check and check. Last year, we was in the playoffs. Now this year, we're in the playoffs. All right? So, that's a blessing. Like I said, we're everything is going according to plan. Everything is going according to plan. So now, I have some things that I would like to get off my chest. And when it comes to the Dolphins, and that is the game against Buffalo. And for some reason, I feel like we're always in a situation where we on pace to do spectacular things, on pace to make to have a great record, or on pace for just like a good, like different type of success, not just making the playoffs. And the reason why I say that, we were leading in the AFC East. We were on top of the AFC East for the whole season. The whole season, we were atop the AFC East. Why? Out of nowhere, it ended up being a win. It ended up being an AFC East championship at the last game of the season. How did we end up How did we end up in that situation? Now, I never really wanted to get into what they would always say is we don't beat good teams. And I didn't want to get into that because my mindset was like, we're going to eventually win against the good teams. Granted, we played against Dallas Cowboys. That's a good team. That's a Super Bowl contending team. So that's one quality win, right? But we ended up in the final game of the season against Buffalo, who started slow, but inched their way game after game, inched their way back into prominence. And I give them all the credit in the world to getting themselves back into prominence, going to the point where they were projected to not be in the playoffs to all of a sudden, once they fired the offensive coordinator, to all of a sudden now they are the number 2 seed. But I said this before. We had chances to be the number 1 seed in the NFL. But we kept losing to the good teams. We kept losing to every good team we played, except for the Dallas Cowboys. Granted, that's a great, if it's just one team that we did beat, that is great that it was a team that's contending for the Super Bowl. I'll take that, but granted, it's like we have a winning team, but yet nobody really believes us, or it's with an asterisk because all the teams that we beat were under 500 except for one. And then we go to a win or go home for the AFC Championship, and we lose. And granted, we are in a bad situation when it comes to our linebackers situation. And when it comes to injuries, Tyreek Hill, he is not healthy. He has a messed up ankle who is gutting it out game in and game out. We just lost both our star linebackers. Bradley Chubb tore ACL in the end of the Baltimore game. People say he shouldn't have been in the game, right? So it's like there's a lot of situations where it's not looking good when it comes to injuries. The injuries are piling up at the wrong time. And yes, we can say, oh yeah, but we don't have anybody. Right now, everybody's injured. Then guess what? Last game of the season, Baltimore, our last pass rusher, Van Ginkel injures his foot, and now he's out for the playoffs. Right? Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert was out on that last game of the season. So granted, if you come and say with an argument, hey, we weren't healthy, I get it. You can in a way make that argument, but at the end of the day, in the NFL, it'll matter if you have how many said players that are not healthy. It doesn't matter how many people you're short. If you have your franchise quarterback, that is what is supposed to have the team overcome certain obstacles. Buffalo Bills, they're in a situation where they're not as talented as they used to be. But because of Josh Allen's talent, that situation, him and his talent and him being the franchise quarterback is what overcomes their situation to the point where they still can be successful. So, in my opinion, like, I'm trying to figure out when is Tua going to get to the point where we have a lot of stuff going on. Our running game is shut down. When is Tua going to rise up and play up to that point where I'm the franchise quarterback and I'm going to put the team on my back? Right? Because in my opinion, he has not shown up in crunch time when the team is in a dire situation. It's starting to be more of an occurrence, man. in my opinion, right, in the first half of that Buffalo game, he was lights out. Second half, after they make adjustments, we're going three and out. We I don't know how many times we had 3 and outs. We had multiple 3 and outs. Multiple 3 and outs. Multiple 3 and outs. Come on, man. An offense that's supposed to be this prominent is not supposed to end up with all those 3 and outs. I'm looking at it like, bro, I'm talking about we mopped the floor. We mopped the floor with these teams under 500. I'm talking about we be scoring 30, 40. I mean, I forgot. Do you guys believe that this season we scored 70 points? Did anybody forget about that? Do anybody remember the fact that we scored 70 points this season in one game? I mean, our offense shows so much promise and potential. It's to the point where I don't understand why, whenever we play a team over 500, all of a sudden, our offense becomes subpar. Why is that? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Mike McDaniel, believe it or not, buddy, you're not on the hot seat, but you have some expectations that is at your door. And with the way this team has been looked upon throughout the season, you cannot go into this playoff game and we end up with another loss, man. I've been watching and following the Dolphins for 15 years. I still have not watched the Dolphins win a playoff game. I still have not watched the Dolphins win a playoff game. Right? And it's getting frustrating because we are a team where it's pretty much like close but no cigar. We get close, but we're never in a situation to unwrap that cigar. Never in a situation to unwrap that cigar. So, for me, I'm in a situation where we're in a situation where we could have been at home. At home, man. And now we're going on the road with wind chills up to negative 30 degrees. Can you believe that? Wind chills up to negative 30 degrees, man. Come on. we should. I don't understand how we could. But now, another person could say, well, maybe, because another person could say, well, if we won this game, we were going to be the number 2 seed, and then Buffalo was going to be the number 6 seed, and they were going to have to play us. Another person could say, I don't want to play Buffalo in the first round of the playoffs. You could say that. Another person could say, right? Another person could say, well, believe it or not, it was a smart move. Lose this game. Don't bring everybody. Don't bring everybody back. Don't bring Raheem Mostert back yet. Right? Don't bring Waddle back yet. Let them get 1 week off. Let them get more healthy. And then we'll bring them back in the first playoff game. Then we bring them back. We have Waddle. We have Mostert. Right? And they're going to be more healthy. And our offense is going to be more prolific. Right? And in my opinion, you could look at it that way. You can look at it that way. Right? But here's the deal. Right? This week that's coming up, we can't only score 14 points, bro. Right? I get it. Kansas City, all they got is that defensive tackle in the middle. That's their dog. That's their main guy. The receivers dropping balls. I get that argument. We might have end up in a better situation. With a weaker team, we might be able to beat Kansas City. I hope so. And I believe in the talent and the potential that this team has. Right? I believe in the potential of this team. But my thing is like this. Tua, in the first half of the game this year, he threw 20 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. With a QB, with a quarterback rating of 120. 128. But in the second half, his touchdown ratio goes down to 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, with a quarterback rating of 85. That's a dramatic difference from first half to second half. That is a dramatic difference. Right? And Tua's going to have to tighten up in the second half, man. He's going to have to tighten up when that first or second read is shut off. Once he can't throw the ball within those 1 to 2 seconds, he starts to freeze. He starts to pump fake. He starts to second guess himself. You have to fight through that, Tua. I thought you did, but it's starting to come back and bite you in the butt a little bit. You have to fight through that. Right? So my mindset is like this. We got a lot of tests that's coming up this week right here. This is where rubber meets the road. This is where rubber meets the road, man. This is where rubber meets the road. And in my opinion, the national media is looking at us like to the point where we're frauds, right? They're looking at us like we're frauds. Pretty much like we're cast off. Dolphins are not going to get a win. Don't even talk about the Dolphins. Right? And you can't blame them. We've only beaten one good team with an opportunity. We played Baltimore. We got stomped. We played Buffalo. And we lost the game. Giving up a kick return? Come on. Like, I don't get it. Like, we gave up oh my goodness. So now, Mike McDaniel has to prove to the naysayers that he can come up with a game plan to get a playoff win. Tua has to prove that he can come up with a good performance against a legitimate team. Right? We're not healthy on the back end with the cornerback. I don't think Howard is coming back yet. We gotta rely on Eli Apple and whatnot. He did get a pick last game, and somebody said something really interesting in the telecast. They said Eli Apple, he might be better playing safety. He never knows, right? And so my mindset is like this: we got a lot of people. There's a lot of tests we got to pass, right? And when it comes to the defense, we've signed 2 players this past week. We're out on linebackers, people. We're out on linebackers. We signed Bruce Irvin. He said to the reporters that he a dog. He said, man, I'm a dog. So we, are happy about that confidence, but we need you on that field to make some plays, man. And he also signed Frank Clark, if I'm not mistaken. But my mindset is like this. We weren't getting home last game. We weren't making it. We wasn't getting home to the quarterback last game. It wasn't happening, especially with Van Ginkel. It's not happening. Right? So here's the thing. In my opinion, we should go zone, man. That's me. I feel like we should go zone. Right? Because why? Why are we going to try to rush the passer when we just don't have the talent right now to rush the passer? We just don't have. They're not getting home. So in my opinion, I would if I'm Vic Fangio, now granted, he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the NBA, in the NFL right now. But if I'm Vic Fangio, right? Which, listen, I'm not a defensive coordinator. Vic Fangio has forgotten more football than I even know, right? And in my opinion, my game plan would be focused on stopping the run and stopping the pass. I'm not even pass rushing. Let them stay back there. Have two. I would play more nickel. I would have a nickel cornerback out there all game. I would have a more agile linebacker out there to play coverage. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Why try to still rush the passer? I probably would just rush the passer on certain downs. That's it. We're not doing that, man. We got to play within our talents. Within our talents. Right now. Our talent we have right now. And in my opinion, I'm playing nickel, having that extra DB out there, and that other linebacker, have him be more of an athletic, put a more athletic linebacker out there, so he can cover more than he rush. And we just playing zone, bro. Listen, if you're gonna beat us, you're gonna beat us by beating our coverage. You ain't gonna get no cheap shot. You ain't gonna be able to do no screens. You ain't gonna be able to try to get one-on-one. None of that. You are not going to be able to run the ball. None of that. You're just going to be able to stay back there. You ain't going to get run. You got to beat the coverage. Right? That's what I would do, bruh. That's what I would do if I'm Vic Fangio. But like I said, right? He has forgotten more football than I would ever know. All right? And so yeah. That's just me. And this is another thing. We had Mostert, and Mostert will be back. Mike McDaniel's game plan with Buffalo, I didn't understand it. You kept trying to work in A-Chain. Now, granted, A-Chain did get a touchdown, right? A-Chain did get you some good yards, but after a while, he's gonna get bottled up if you don't every now and then have another running back that's bigger than him that can have more tough yards. Like, this is what I'm gonna say. As a football team, I always believe in the earth, wind, and fire philosophy when it comes to the running game. When it comes to the running backs, man. And in my opinion, get you a big running back, a bell cow. All right? Get you a bell cow. Get you a slasher like Mostert. And get you a speedster like A-Chain. We got the slasher in Mostert. We got the speedster in A-Chain. We just need that power runner. We don't have that on the team. Get us a Derrick Henry of some sort. You get what I'm saying? Get us a Derrick Henry. Get you a Derrick Henry. Get you a you have Mostert, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Just like when the New York Giants won the Super Bowl in 2007. They had Ware. They had it was another big running back, Brandon Jacobs. And then they had one more. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. That was the Earth, Wind, and Fire. Right there. All right? Now, it's put up or shut up this Saturday, man. It's put up or shut up. That simple. We got to get a win, man. Mike McDaniel has to prove to the people that he is the coach. He is the up-and-coming coach moving forward. That he's going to get... Because at the end of the day, all this, Tyreek Hill did 1,700 yards. Mostert, 20 touchdowns. And A-Chain. 50-yard run, this and that. Tua, fast release. We had fun. Scoring 70 against Denver. All that is fun and dandy. Right? But now, all that was window dressing, though. You get what I'm saying? Now, all that was window dressing. Now it's time to open it up. Let some sun in, and let's get to work. It's over with, bruh. Now it's put up or shut up. Right? And are you going to get this win on Saturday, man? Are you going to prove the people wrong and show them that we can win a playoff game? We can beat a good team. Right? So that's it, man. That's really it. Right? We had a lot of situations that happened this past weekend, I might add. And during the Monday after the regular season finale, right? There are always something called Black Monday, right? It's called Black Monday, which means if the organization was not satisfied with your record, not satisfied with how your team is going, right? If they're not satisfied with how everything went down, they will call you to the office and tell you your services is no longer needed. Black Monday. And this last couple of days, you've had the Atlanta Falcons firing Arthur Smith. The Washington Commanders firing Ron Rivera. a surprising one right here. The Tennessee Titans firing Mike Vrabel. Another surprising one. The Seattle Seahawks firing Pete Carroll. Not firing Pete Carroll, but parting ways with Pete Carroll. Tennessee Titans, yeah. Pete Carroll, parting ways with Pete Carroll. And last but not least, the New England Patriots are parting ways with Bill Belichick. We have other vacancies that happen during the season. The Carolina Panthers letting go of Frank Wright. The Las Vegas Raiders letting go of Josh McDaniels. In the middle of the season. The Los Angeles Chargers letting go of Brandon Staley. And let's get right into it. Let's start with Carolina Panthers. Right? Carolina Panthers, they got Bryce Young. They traded up for Bryce Young. And, I mean, this team had no talent at all. None. Right? And, in my opinion, Bryce Young did really well, even though he had no talent. I'm going to tell you that right now. I believe in Bryce Young. I believe in Bryce Young. I think he's going to do amazing. For what he did with no talent, he's a serviceable quarterback, man. And shouts out to him for not getting hurt. Because, especially with no O-line, especially with no receivers, and through all that, stay healthy and stay upright and not get hurt. Kudos to you, my brother. You know how to keep yourself healthy. That's one. And one thing about it, this year was just this year was a how can I say it? Was just getting experience. That's what it was about. He gained a lot of experience. You got to go through that. Not everybody's gonna be, what Houston got going on right now. Not everybody's gonna get that success. No. Right? And you have David Tepper, who, I don't know, man. He's getting looked at as, a bad owner. You got the Washington head coach is no longer here anymore, Dan Snyder. Now everybody looking at him as like he's the bad owner. He already got fined not too long ago for throwing liquids, throwing a beverage on a fan. Not a good look. He's angry. He's disgruntled. But all he wants to do is really win. He came in, and since he came in, he's just been making aggressive moves. You gotta at least give him that credit. But in my opinion, he has to be more patient, though. That's what I have with him. He has to be more patient. The owner, David Tepper, because you brought in, right? You brought in a head coach from college, right? And you got to give them some time. You got to let them, develop. Like, you brought in Matt Rule from college. My thing is like this. He's from college. He's not used to building he's not used to building a program in the NFL. So if you make that a commitment, you sign him to like a 5-6 year contract, give him at least 4 years. I felt like you had, at the end of the day, you had some sort of identity with Matt Rule, right? And in my opinion, give him a shot. And then you fire Matt Rule, cool. Right? Steve Wilkes takes over and he goes 6-6. And then you don't give him the job. He coached well, your team was having some success, and you don't give him the job. You let him walk. You hire Frank Wright the next year. He goes 1-10. You fire him before he even finishes his first year. Come on. David Tepper got to have some patience. Right? It's the same thing with the Las Vegas Raiders. You fire John Gruden, right? Rich Bisaccia, I think his name is. Rich Bisaccia. And I hope I'm not getting his name wrong. I'm hoping like let me check. Let me look at that. What was it? Rich Bisaccia. All right. Rich Bisaccia. Right? He takes over the team and he brings your team to the playoffs. He brings your team to the playoffs and you don't give him the job. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Right? And then you bring in Josh McDaniels. Right? And for 2 seasons, he goes 9-16. He lost the locker room. Then you fired Josh McDaniels in the middle of the season. Why didn't you stay with Rich Bisaccia? Right? Now you're in a situation again. Deja vu. Antonio Pierce takes over. He goes 5-4. Your team plays completely differently. Your team is in love with the coach. Right? And what do? You don't give him the job yet. You let other teams go and try to interview him. You tell all the other staff members that they could go ahead and look for employment somewhere else. So you haven't learned from your mistakes. Mark Davis. Right? You haven't learned from your mistakes. And now you're going to let Antonio Pierce walk. Yeah. Right? I don't understand. Right? So now, in my opinion, the team has a quarterback. You drafted him in the 3rd round. He plays pretty competent. Why don't you run it back with Antonio Pierce, give him a 2-year deal with the quarterback? He's played pretty well. And build from that. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense to me. Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. And he made a mistake choosing the quarterback. He shouldn't have chosen Marcus Mariota the first time he got there. He should have went out and got a more established veteran or drafted a quarterback in the 1st round. But I looked at all the quarterbacks. In the past couple of drafts, he was in a situation where there wasn't no quarterback that was worth where they were at. And he had talent. He should have just gotten a better quarterback in the free agency, and he would have been good, man. And he would have had a winning season. 3 straight 7-10 seasons. And Arthur Smith was a good talent in my opinion. And now look, he got fired. All because he didn't have a good quarterback. The team was good, but not the quarterback. Los Angeles Chargers, Brandon Staley. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I felt like they could have gave Brandon Staley 1 more year. This year, you had people that wasn't healthy in the offense. But then again, your defense, you're a defensive coordinator, man. Your defense was not playing well, and you're the defensive coordinator, and you were the defensive play caller. So I don't know why your defense wasn't playing up to par. All right. Washington Commanders, Ron Rivera. Me personally, his time was up. New ownership. You have a good nucleus of team. Sam Howell, he did okay, but you're in a good spot. You can get a new quarterback. Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel did great. The only mistake was the GM traded away A.J. Brown to Philadelphia. Worst mistake. That torpedoed the franchise and caused Vrabel to end up with 2 losing seasons after that. And that's the reason why Mike Vrabel didn't have 2 good seasons. You had injuries, Tool got hurt and whatnot. Mike Vrabel's a great coach. I personally feel like Mike Vrabel got fired because they brought in a new GM, in my opinion. if you fired the GM, you should have consulted with Mike Vrabel into who the next GM should have been. You should not have went and gotten another GM from a whole different regime and then have to ask Vrabel to coexist with the new GM. That wasn't going to happen. And then also, I also feel like the owner did not like the fact that during the season, Mike Vrabel went to New England to get honored for the Patriots Hall of Fame, and then was in a skybox with the Patriots owner as if he was not the head coach for the Tennessee Titans. I think the owner didn't like that, and I think those two things right there was one of the reasons why I think Mike Vrabel was let go. Pete Carroll, I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know why he got fired or got let go. They say he's still gonna work in a different capacity with the team. I feel like he's the model of success, in my opinion. Always in the thick of being in the playoffs. No, he still was coaching. And in my opinion, that was a surprising move. Bill Belichick. I'm going to get into Bill Belichick after the break. Right? I got to get stuff off my chest when it comes to two iconic departures. I'm leaving the best for last. Stay tuned. This is a Deus Sports Show, and we'll be right back.
Your grace is all I see. Your mercies are ever new. Daily, oh, daily, oh, daily. You turn my life around, gave me a brand new song. You did do wonder. Your grace is all I see. Your mercies are ever new. Daily, oh, daily, oh, daily. You turn my life around, gave me a brand new song. You did do wonder. Jesus, you did do wonder. Heaven
Welcome.
TNT Nation.
Welcome. We're back. Back and better than ever. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for staying in, keeping it locked. I've got something to say, man. Shouts out to Pastor King. He said, what he said? He said teams are looking for a 2-year turnaround. They don't let you build teams right away. And I see that because I'm talking about people getting axed, man, like within a couple. And then I see like people starting to say like Mike McDaniel might be on a hot seat. Are you kidding me? What? Man, this man, we found a steal at the coach at the head coaching position, man. Nobody, if everybody knew how much of a brilliant mind Mike McDaniel was, you'd have had teams waiting at the door to try to hire him. And we was the only team that gave him an interview, and we hired him. And it was after the fact. People were like, oh, shoot, this man was a really good coach. Right? So now, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots. I'm surprised at the move. Right? If you don't know, right? And if you haven't heard, right? Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots is expected to part ways after a remarkable 24 seasons together, ending an unmatched run in NFL history that included 6 Super Bowl titles, league sources tell Adam Schefter and Mike Reese. Right? And in my opinion, Bill Belichick, this is on you, buddy. In my opinion, because you got the quarterback, Mac Jones. He played well his rookie season. He brought you to playoffs your first year. Mm-hmm. Then the next year, after my the offensive coordinator goes and get his own head coaching job, right? The one he even right, and then you decided to not hire an offensive coordinator and put Matt Patricia, a defensive coordinator, as the offensive coordinator. Come on, you did that on yourself. That stunted the growth of your quarterback, man. Not only did that stunt the growth of your quarterback, right? But then you tried to finally, make amends with that situation and bring back another offensive coordinator, but it was already too late. You stunted the man's growth. Now, you never brought in a talented wide receiver. It don't matter what offensive coordinator there, but bring in a talented wide receiver, a prolific wide receiver, either through free agency or through the draft. You never did that. You never brought a receiver that ran a sub 4.3 in to help Mac Jones. All right? That was another problem. Right? And in my opinion, big ups. I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna show my respect. Even though you have been going against the Dolphins for so many years, a team that I follow, right? I have to say this and I have to give him his respect. In my opinion, this is just me, and I believe a lot of people feel that as well. In my opinion, Bill Belichick is the best coach in NFL history. I'm gonna give you your flowers. You go ahead and hit the clap for. You could go ahead and hit the clap for Bill Belichick. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the clap. I'm gonna give you your applause. Shouts out Bill Belichick. Even though you were the one who the reason why we was always in the ruins and whatnot. But I got to give you credit. I got to give you your just due. I got to give you your flowers. 24 seasons, 17 division titles, 6 Super Bowls. I got to give you your flowers. Let's give him a clap one more time, man. So, bravo, brother. But the thing with him, I'm shocked they let him go. Because there were reports that were out that he was willing, because they were saying that the problem with him was not the coaching, but the personnel part. He was starting to fail at that part, right? And there are reports out there that say that he was willing to let Robert Kraft and upper management go ahead and find a general manager and allow a general manager to do the personnel, take over at personnel, draft the players and whatnot. You get what I'm saying? Draft the players and develop and sign players. And then he'll just coach. There are reports are out there that said that that's what he wanted. I mean, he was okay with that. He'll relinquish that responsibility, right? And for me to see they still decided to part ways, in my opinion, I feel like, because you got to understand, this man went 24 years being the main guy with all the decisions, right? And in my opinion, I feel like even though he was going to relinquish that, one thing I'm going to say is that he probably wanted input. That's just my opinion. I don't know. There's no reports on this. I feel like he probably wanted input on who they hired as general manager. And I think that might be where the disconnect was. They were like, no, we're gonna go we're gonna widen our search with the general manager, this, that, and the third. He probably was like, nah, I gotta be able to have my general manager be someone that I'm okay with or I'm cool with, that I'm familiar with. And I think that's what it was. I don't think he fully was gonna he was gonna relinquish it, but guess what? I think he still wanted somebody that he's cool with, be like, hey man, I like this guy, And I think in my opinion, that's probably where it was at. Because no head coach wants to, all of a sudden, I'm 24 seasons in, and then all of a sudden now I have a general manager who all of a sudden is going to act like he's my boss. I'm Bill Belichick. And I really feel like that's what happened. And that's what Robert Kraft said in the press conference too. He was like, well, you got somebody who was in charge of everything for 24 years. And that's all he did to all of a sudden now put a general manager on top of him and stuff like that. It just didn't seem right. He's Bill Belichick. So I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, there's going to be multiple teams that are going to be lined up to try to talk to him. Even teams that already has a head coach. If Bill Belichick wants to coach there, listen, man, they're gonna tell the head coach, hey, I need you to come to my office. Hey, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. Belichick wants to coach this team, and you can't give up a opportunity with Bill Belichick. If Bill Belichick wants to come here, we're gonna let him come, man. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he's gonna be all right. He still wants to coach and whatnot. A lot of people gonna say though, even though he's the best coach in my opinion, in the NFL, A lot of people gonna say, yeah, but he didn't win with Brady. They're gonna say, well, he didn't win. He didn't succeed when Brady left, right? Brady left and won a Super Bowl in Tampa. So a lot of people gonna say, oh, were you really a great coach, or were you just riding the coattails of Tom Brady? That's what a lot of people was going to say. And in my opinion, I feel like it just went hand in hand. I don't feel like he was riding Tom Brady's coattails, in my opinion. And I don't feel like that was the case and stuff like that. He won. He had 2 winning seasons. Out of the 5 seasons without Tom Brady, he had 2 of those 5 seasons was winning seasons. He won. He went to the playoffs with Matt Castle, and he also went to the playoffs with Mac Jones. And King, Brother King says, without due respect, he said the Bill Belichick comment is wrong. This man cheated and relied on his talent to get him ahead. Whoa. The reason why I brought up the fact that, in my opinion, Bill Belichick is the best college football coach, best NFL coach, is because, I'm not going to lie to you, I like to give people credit where I watched him. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people could bring up Tom Landry. A lot of people could bring up all those other head coaches in the past where I wasn't there. I wasn't alive to see them. You get what I'm saying? In my opinion, I feel like it's Bill Belichick, right? But I want, me personally, if it was me, I feel like with what Bill Belichick has done, he is the best college. He's the best NFL coach to ever coach the game right now. Like, if everything's all said and done, Bill Belichick is the best coach, in my opinion, to ever coach the game. 1, I've seen him and I've watched him win 6 Super Bowls. 2, I watched it. Like, I don't like, somebody could say, oh, this person is better, but then I wasn't there to see it. I always hold that against that. I wasn't there to see it. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, he was the best, because I look at everything. If somebody is even close to that conversation, I'm going to go with that because I lived it and I seen it. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the Jordan conversation, right? In my opinion, granted, yes, you can say Jordan is the best player to ever play the game. You look at his credentials, look at his stats, look at everything like that. But for me, I'm not going to say he's the best for me, even though he probably is the best. But for me, I'm always going to go either Kobe, right? I'm mostly going to go Kobe because I've seen Kobe do it. And then with LeBron James' longevity, yes, everybody looking at, oh, Deuce about to give LeBron James credit. I feel like when it's all said and done, you got to give LeBron James credit for what he's done too. Granted, he's done it with a lot of other superstars and whatnot, but his longevity puts him in the conversation, though. But my Jordan is Kobe. I don't care what nobody say. That's my Jordan. And second after that, I'll probably give it to Jordan, and then right after that, I'll give it to LeBron James. And in my opinion, there's like, if it's up to me, I have people who I feel like has the potential to get to that point. And I feel like if they continue to get more accolades, I have people that I have that is preference that with my preference, I would want to see them to get more accolades so I can be like, you're the best, because I want them to be the best. So for me, and when it comes to NFL head coaches, I personally, I want Andy Reid to be the best coach to ever coach the game. And I feel like if he continues to win Super Bowls, I can proudly say, or with my preference say, that Andy Reid is the best coach to ever coach the game. But I can't say that because he's only won 2 Super Bowls. He has to win 4 more or 4 or 5 more for me to finally be like, okay, yes, I believe Andy Reid is the best coach to ever coach the game. But I can't do that until him and Patrick Mahomes win 4 or 5 more rings. You get what I'm saying? The same thing with Steph Curry. When it comes to basketball, my Jordan is Kobe. The second player after Kobe, in my opinion, is Jordan. Even though Jordan is number one overall, but I didn't watch him play. So I give that an account. So my Jordan is Kobe. Granted, Jordan is number one. I understand Jordan's number one, but my Jordan is Kobe. And then after that, okay, yeah, I'll give it to Jordan after that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's like Jordan is by default, right? And then after that, my Jordan is Kobe. Then I'll go LeBron James. Then, in my opinion, Steph Curry. If Steph Curry get more accolades and get more championships, right, and get to a point where if he get to the point where he could get more championships, I personally will have Steph Curry as my number one player. But he has to get there, right? That's just a preference. King said on the chat, he said, Belichick is a product of changed rules. Don Shula wins hands down. I'll give it to you. That's your opinion. I'll give it to you. More wins, especially in a tougher era. Hey, like I said, Pastor King, he lived through Don Shula's era. I didn't. I didn't see that era. You get what I'm saying? So he's doing that based on, in my opinion, him experiencing that. He says more wins. Hey, that's him. But that's how I go. That's how I'm taking. Now, the last segment. Is, when I left the best for last, right? And the best for last, if you haven't heard, if you don't know, right? Breaking news, Alabama head coach Nick Saban is retiring from Alabama, right? 7 national championships. No one has more. Nick Saban is forever stamped in college history, right? And this is something else, man. I'm gonna say, right? Just like I just talked about Bill Belichick when it comes to the NFL, I gotta give Nick Saban his flowers. I know Billy is listening right now, probably listening, maybe not, I don't know. But me and him always going at it about Bill Belichick. I mean, about Nick Saban and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I was salty. When he left the Dolphins. Because I was young and I used to watch, right? I used to watch him when he was coaching the Dolphins, and I watched that press conference when he said he was not going to Alabama. Then literally the next day, he is being introduced as Alabama's next head coach. I remember that. I was traumatized by that as a follower of the Dolphins, man. Right? Until that day, since then, I've always been salty about that throughout his tenure in Alabama. He was winning championship after championship, and I just couldn't enjoy it because I felt like he should have been doing that with the Dolphins, right? And Billy always called me a hater. He said, bro, you a hater, bro. I'm like, bro, I'm not a hater, bro. And I always bring my arguments to why I'm not hating and whatnot, this, that, and the third, right? He has retired. It's finally over, right? Bill Belichick, thank God he's still coaching. Because if he was retiring, it would be 2 stalwarts retiring. It would be we're used to greatness like Bill Belichick. We're used to greatness like Nick Saban. And throughout his tenure, I used to always make arguments and say, oh, no, I'm not this, that, and the third. But everybody knows.
What's good, I guess?
right? Everybody knows. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows that when he wins games and wins championships, I always bring up, like especially people that's close to me, I always bring up a reason to why. Oh man, I always just like I congratulate them, but I'm always salty about it, and I just feel like he shouldn't have left the Dolphins, bro. Not the way he did. That's all. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish he never came to the Dolphins and he just went from LSU to Alabama. Because now it would have just been appreciating greatness the whole tenure. Right? And in my opinion, like, I'm salty that he left, but I've never, really gave him congratulations or gave him his flowers like that, except for when he won the championship. I say, okay, well, congratulations and whatnot. So my mindset is like this, right? And I have to say this now, that he's retired. I got to give respect where respect is due. Nick Saban is the best college coach in college football history. I got to give it up to him, right? Mitch, give me an applause. I got to give it to him. He is the best coach in college football history, and I got to give him applause. Right. He's one of the few times that I'm giving this man a congratulations, and I'm, giving him his, and I'm giving him his just due, right? And in my opinion, right? In my opinion, I feel like, he had a great career, amazing career, right? And, congratulations to him. He had a great career. Congratulations to him. He's had a wonderful run, right? Now, he had 17 seasons, 6 national championships, and 9 conference titles, right? And in my opinion, congratulations to him. Now, here's the thing. Now I'm going to really get into this real quick, right? And Nick Saban, we got to also look at it this way, right? He had the most talent. He always had the most talent, right, at Alabama. He had those boosters. He had everything at his disposal in Alabama, right? The only thing I'm going to say when it comes to him retiring is why now? Ain't no getting old. You a lifer. This is what you do. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He's straight. Right? Why now? That's the only thing. Because all these times when the BCS was here, and every year, it didn't matter if you was 1 win or 2 wins, you would still end up being a top 2 team ranked. Somehow, some way, you would find your way back in the BCS championship game. Right? Why now? When it comes to Nick Saban, it's like, bro, Alabama was the team that ended up getting every top recruit, number one recruiting class, year in and year out. Why now? Right? I don't want to hear nothing about no age. Because guess what? I know once next year he's going to go to the TV. He's not going to stop working. Right? So I'm not insinuating anything. All I'm saying, listen, I respect greatness. But all I'm saying is this. When Deion Sanders got the number one recruit in the nation, you felt some type of way about that, bro. You felt some type of way about Travis Hunter going to Jackson State. You felt some type of way about him going to Colorado with Deion Sanders. You felt some type of way when top recruits were going to different organizations, different teams other than Alabama. Now that there's the NIL, name, image, and likeness instituted in college football. So now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Throughout the whole time when Alabama would win these championships, I used to always say, man, after a while you get tired of seeing Alabama in the championship every year. We had the mini run with Clemson, Alabama. I think we watched Clemson, Alabama like 3 years straight. Right? It was at a point where it was only Clemson and Alabama getting top recruits, bruh. Right? And the playoff came in. They made sure that Alabama made the playoffs. Right? Somehow, some way, Alabama gonna make that playoff. Right? Now all of a sudden, you got even Matt Rule, the head coach of Nebraska, one day said, hey, if you want a good quarterback nowadays, that's at least $1 to $2 million. You gotta pay that quarterback now. Players are getting paid everywhere now, not just Alabama. And now, I just feel like, why leave now when there now is going to be a more level playing field? Why leave now? That's all I'm saying. I would want to see a couple of more years of you at Alabama going against a more balanced nation, a more balanced talent pool throughout the country and not just at Alabama. Why leave now? That's all I'm saying. I've given him his flowers. He's the best coach to ever coach college football. I've said that. I have nothing against that. I'm acknowledging that. But all I'm saying is, why now? When name, image, and likeness is now finally starting to heat up, right? People are transferring left and right, getting paid before they make it to the NFL, right? Recruiting is more of a challenge now. Why now? I just feel like play with the game. You had your fun in the BCS. You've had your fun before name, image, and likeness. I just feel like, in my opinion, he might be leaving a little bit too early. In my opinion. I feel like you can recruit in the name, image, and likeness era. I just hope that he's not leaving. I hope he really is leaving just to leave because he wants to spend time with his family. I hope you're not leaving because the nation is now catching up to the talent of Alabama. I just hope you're not leaving because of that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say with that. I just hope you are not leaving because Colorado's getting top recruits, because Texas is getting top recruits, because USC is getting top recruits, because Oregon's getting top recruits, because UCLA is getting top recruits, because Texas A&M is getting top recruits, because Texas is getting top recruits. I hope you're not leaving because of that. That's all I'm saying with that. I've given you your flowers. You're the best college coach to ever coach a game. But all I'm saying is I hope you're not leaving because of that. That's all I'm saying with that. Right? And you can take it how you want to take it. You could digest that how you want to digest that. I've given you your flowers. Nick Saban, you the best coach to ever coach a college game. Bill Belichick, you the best coach in my opinion to ever coach in the NFL, right? But we got to look at we can't only just look at the good side. We got to look at that other side too. We got to look at that other side too, man. You get what I'm saying? It's like, if anything, okay, you done with college. In my opinion, try NFL for a couple of years. Go back into the NFL. Go back into the league. You get what I'm saying? I just feel like I don't want people to leave stuff on the table. You're still healthy. In my opinion, sports is worse with Nick Saban leaving, man. Wherever he's at, college or NFL. Right? So, that's just all I gotta say with that. Right? Thank you for tuning in. That's the Deus Sports Show. We live on YouTube, the Deus Sports Podcast, the Deus Sports Show on YouTube, Whsn-Db, Hosannaradio on YouTube, and Facebook Live. Also, later on, I'm going to upload it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all major platforms, you name it, right? Thank you for tuning in to the Deus Sports Show. We'll see you next week. Happy New Year. Let's make this a great year. Thank you.
Your love is kind. Your love is patient. You fill my heart with so much peace and joy. You're amazing. You make my life feel brand new. You're amazing. You make my life feel brand new. Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love, oh. Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love, oh.
Hey, auditeur, ou prend lumière rouge. Au moins faire un petit freiner pour brancher Radio Hosannah, Radio Peuple là, Radio Chaleur, Grand Monde, Petit Monde, la jeunesse. Yo tout côté là. Et c'est radio qui porte la joie dans la communauté.
You are now listening to Hosannaradio, the radio station that's connecting the world through gospel.